Okay, so good afternoon. Today we're going to present our study, Enhanced 7E Instructional Model Towards Enriching Science Inquiry Skills. So this is Dr. Leonard Lubiano from the Department of Education, Philippines.
So I am Marife, Dr. Marife S. Magpantay from Southern.
Okay,
Uh,
okay, sorry for that. So to adapt to this ever-changing and fast-paced society, improvement and sustainability of Philippine quality education is an utmost priority. With the establishment of K-12 curriculum in 2013, the Department of Education hoped to solve the country's needs and to keep up with the global educational reform. Likewise, learners are taught to think scientifically, design scientific inquiry, interpret data and evidences, and draw conclusions. This encompasses science education's goal in the country's current curriculum. However, with the unprecedented events brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, schools forcefully closed its operation on March 2020 to contain its spread, which may affect the welfare of learners, teachers, and educational stakeholders inadvertently. This compromised the Department of Education's plans to open the classes every June of the year. As a result, the department released DepEd Order Number 12 Series of 2020, establishing the adoption of Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan that contains sets of educational interventions through the necessary K-12 curriculum adjustments, alignment of learning materials, deployment of multiple learning delivery modalities, provision of trainings for teachers and school leaders, and proper orientation of parents or guardians. And now with the advent of 21st century era, the Philippines, for us to cope up with the global competitiveness, we established the K-12 curriculum, adding 2 years in the basic education. Thus, we have the senior high school. So under the senior high school, we have the science, technology, engineering, mathematics strands, which hope to develop the problem solving and the inquiry skills of the learners. However, there are reports or there are studies saying that the senior high schools are not yet ready to enter the college because their inquiry levels remain low. Thus, we have a very low professionals or science professionals in the country. Thus, with the study of Williams 2017 and Chang, Yang, and Wang in 2014, inquiry encompasses the 21st century skills, which include the problem solving, ICT, communication, lifelong learning, critical, and creativity. And for this, we are going, or in this we hope to bridge the gap between ICT and inquiry by developing an innovative material encompassing the 7E instructional model. Doc?
so for the theoretical framework, the use of web-based inquiry learning coupled with 7E instructional model is anchored on constructivist learning theory, which has emerged as a prominent approach to teaching for decades. The works of Dewey in 1986, Montessori in 1965, Piaget in 1964, Brunner in 1985, and Vygotsky in 1978 provided the historical precedents for constructivist learning theory. Constructivist learning approach, as mentioned by Balta in 2016, sparked the idea that learners construct knowledge in an active process where they combine previous learning to a newly acquired one. Thus, finally, Eisencraft expanded the 7E instructional model where a problem or a question was provided. They would be required to plan how to solve an experimental problem or to test a hypothesis. Therefore, the students have to formulate an investigation procedure to find and determine outcome by them. It allows the students to think like scientists. Later, they acquire knowledge and develop their own understanding of concepts, principles, or even theories. Thus, the researchers combine the concepts of science inquiry skills, interactive courseware, and the 7E instructional model in the study to fill the gap.
And for our research objectives, This study aimed to enhance the 7 instructional model integrated with the courseware in General Chemistry 1 among the grade 12 learners of STEM strand. Specifically, the study sought to answer the following objectives. First, determine and explain the causes of difficulties in enriching the science inquiry skills in General Chemistry 1 as perceived by teachers and learners. Two, encapsulate the meaningful learning experiences of learners in enriching science inquiry skills using the developed technology-based teaching material in the 7 instructional model, particularly in General Chemistry 1. And third, enhance the 7 instructional model integrated with the interactive courseware.
So for our
Research context, Doc?
research context, I'm sorry for that. So this study was conducted in two selected public secondary schools offering the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM strand of the K to 12 senior high school program in the school division of Quezon, Philippines. To maintain confidentiality of the data gathered, the school respondents were coded as public schools A and B. Further, the schools were chosen because they were offering the STEM strand with two comparable sections. Likewise, the schools pioneered the implementation of that STEM strand for several years, which qualified them for the study.
And for our participants, we have two groups of grade 12 students, one as the experimental and the other one as the control group. So we have a total of 136 respondents matched using matching variables. And then we have 50 science teachers who are chosen purposively from the junior senior high school for us to determine the level of acceptability of the developed material.
So for our research paradigm, so we use the IPO or the input process output with three phases. So for the first phase, for the input, we determine the causes of difficulties in enriching the science inquiry skills as perceived by teachers and learners, the 7E teaching and learning model, the science interactive courseware, the General Chemistry 1's curriculum guide, and other peer-reviewed journals and other resources. So for the phase two, so we the development rather, pilot testing and validation of research instrument together with the pre-level, post-level science inquiry skills tests. General Chemistry 1 interactive courseware was developed. Meaningful learning experiences, interview guide, interactive courseware level acceptability of the questionnaire to answer the phase two or the second objective. And of course, as an output of the study, it aimed to develop the framework of an enhanced 7E teaching and learning model integrated with the interactive courseware.
And then for our statistical analysis, we use the weighted mean for the level of acceptability and t-test for independent sample means for determining the difference between the post level of the control and experimental group. And of course, we use the thematic analysis for us to analyze the qualitative data part of our study. Doc?
So for the ethical considerations, so uninformed consent and protection from harm was given to the participants beforehand. This was done to ensure that the respondents participated in their own will and they would not be harmed, and any data to be gathered in the study were treated with strict confidentiality.
And for our summary of the findings, for the first objective, and it was already mentioned, the instrumentation being used, the findings are the following. We strongly agree on the nature of topics, agree in the learning environment, agree on the learner-related issues, and also agree on the teacher-related issues. And these are the causes of the difficulties in enriching the science inquiry skills. On the other hand, the following topics are perceived to be difficult on the part of our learners. These are as follows: matter, precision and accuracy, atoms, molecules and ions, stoichiometry, and gas laws. So this is the concept map of the study. Doc?
So for the second objective, so An interactive courseware integrated in the 7E teaching and learning model was developed with the following parts: pre-laboratory discussion, inquiry skill activities, post-lab discussion, and evaluation. There are no significant differences between the profiles of respondents in the experimental and control groups in terms of their pre-level inquiry skill scores and the grade 11 general averages. Conversely, there is a significant differences between the post-level inquiry skills mean scores of respondents in the control and the experimental in schools A and B after the conduct of the study. This means that the use of interactive courseware integrated in the 7E teaching and learning model was effective in enriching the science inquiry skills of the learners. These were confirmed by sharing of meaningful learning experiences during the focus group discussion and interview. So, this is the sample of snapshot of the software being developed in this study. So, this is the sample snapshot taken from the uh, software. And of course, the concept map or the qualitative data gathered or analyzed after the phase 2 of the study. And of course, this is the initial framework of 7E learning model being used in the phase 2 of the study.
And for our last objective, um, we consolidate the data from the quantitative and qualitative phases of our study. Thus, we have the findings that the existing 7 instructional model needs enhancement in order to cater the needs of the 21st century learners. To do this, a framework is crafted to aid the model in bringing about enrichment in the learner's science inquiry skills. So this is actually the crafted enhanced model of the 7E. So we all know that the 7E moves cyclical, and within this, we have here the gears 21st century learners, science inquiry skills, and interactive courseware, meaning they will move if they will not move if one of those gears is not functioning well. And around these gears are the themes created out of the coding or out of the qualitative analysis. We have the ideal for millennial, learning experience, and interaction.
So for our conclusion, so we have number one, in general, the nature of topics, learning environment, learning and teacher-related issues are the root causes of difficulty in the enrichment of science inquiry skills among grade 12 learners in General Chemistry 1. Number two, the implementation of the 7E instructional model is effective in enriching science inquiry skills of the grade 12 STEM learners. The respondents in the experimental group were able to enrich their science inquiry skills with the use of the interactive courseware as supplementary material in General Chemistry 1. And last, the enhanced 7E instructional model was crafted based on the quantitative and qualitative data obtained from phases 1 and 2 of the study. It its phases move cyclical around the following elements: interactive courseware, science inquiry skills, and 21st century learner. All of these are produced from the recurring codes ideal for millennial interaction and learning experiences.
And finally, we have here the following recommendations. First, we can implement this as part of the school remediation and enrichment programs. Second, we can integrate the courseware in teaching our senior high school learners, especially with this specialized subject chemistry. Third, we can try this out in other science disciplines, implementing the inquiry and constructivist approaches. And finally, number four, we can improve the structure of the courseware, because I know there are some parts or some aspects that have to be improved. And also, I hope we can install this also in iPhones aside from the Android phones. And for our acknowledgements, we acknowledge the people behind this and also the committee of the ICMST 2021. And these are our references. And then we say, thank you very much.
Thank you very much and good afternoon. Thank you po.
Thank you.